There is a sound on this planet that makes lions abandon their kill and run. It isn't a bigger lion. It isn't a gunshot. It's the sound of a person talking normally, the exact voice you used this morning to order a coffee. Researchers played it through hidden speakers in the wild, and animals fled the human voice about twice as fast as they fled actual lions. You are the lion's nightmare. And yet you spent last Tuesday in a hostage negotiation with a spider the size of a raisin, seriously weighing whether it was easier to just move house. That's not a personality quirk. It's a survival program, 200,000 years old, still running in a body it no longer fits. And it's quietly costing you every single day. So here's the question that should keep you up tonight. If you're the most feared predator alive, why did the raisin win? Stick around. The answer is a glitch in software you can't see. Let's get something straight. You think you're the prey. Your whole nervous system thinks you're the prey. You walk into a dark parking garage and your heart does that little drum solo. You hear a branch snap on a hike and your spine becomes a question mark. You've spent your entire life feeling small, jumpy, watchable, like something is always one step behind you. But that's not how the rest of the planet sees you, at all. To every deer, every elephant, every lion that has ever heard your species coming, you are not the nervous little snack. You are the apex predator's apex predator, the final boss. The thing their ancestors learned to flee before they learned anything else. And the gap between how you feel and how nature actually rates you, that gap has a name, the apex glitch. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly why your self-image never got the update. So before we go full nature documentary, do the thing. Subscribe. This channel is basically a support group for ancient bugs running your modern life, and you, my friend, are riddled with them. Now, the proof. Because you should not just take the word of a doodle on the internet. Two scientists at Western University, Zanette and Michael Clinchy, have spent years doing something deliciously simple. They hide speakers out in the wild, and they play sounds. Sometimes it's a lion, sometimes it's a dog barking, sometimes it's gunshots, and sometimes, this is the good part, it's just people, talking, normal human conversation, someone reading a nature book out loud in a calm, pleasant voice. Guess which sound sends animals running for their lives? It's not the lion, it's you. It's the sound of a human voice, chatting, doing absolutely nothing threatening, that empties a watering hole faster than the literal king of the savannah roaring his lungs out. Animals hear a guy mumbling and they leave the country. They hear a lion and they go, manageable. Sit with that. The single most feared sound in the natural world is the noise that comes out of your face when you order a coffee. In 2023, the Zanette and Clinchy team took this to the Greater Kruger in South Africa and published it in Current Biology, and the results are almost rude. They set up water holes with hidden cameras and speakers. They played recordings, lion vocalizations versus people just talking. And the savanna mammals, the big ones, the ones that fear nothing, ran from human speech roughly twice as often as they ran from lions. They abandoned the water faster. They left in a hurry. Even elephants. Elephants, the animals that will flip a truck for fun, backed off from the sound of a calm human voice. Some of them turned toward the lion sounds to confront the threat. But the humans? No. From the humans, they just left. The king of beasts is a speed bump. You are an extinction-level event with a podcast voice. So how did this happen? How did you, who got winded carrying groceries up one flight of stairs, become the thing the entire animal kingdom files under do not engage? Quick question. When was the last time something hunted you? Not a mosquito. An actual predator that wanted to eat you. Right. Never. And that, paradoxically, is the whole problem with your self-perception. Here's the deep cut. Your terrifying reputation is not built on your body. Look at you. No claws, no fangs worth mentioning. You can't outrun a house cat. A goose has genuinely sent grown adults sprinting across a park. On paper, you are a soft, slow, thin-skinned mammal that comes pre-bruised. Your reputation is built on 4 things, and not one of them is muscle. Tools, fire, cooperation, and language. That's it. That's the whole cheat code. You picked up a sharp rock and suddenly distance didn't matter. You made fire and suddenly the dark belonged to you. You learned to hunt in groups that plan, that remember, that pass the plan down to the next generation. And you learned to talk, which meant the lesson, stay away from the talking things, could travel faster than any animal could ever learn it on its own. You didn't evolve into a predator. You software updated into one. And it happened terrifyingly fast. There's a researcher named Darimont who, with his colleagues, published a study in Science in 2015 with one of the best titles in academic history, The Unique Ecology of Human Super Predators. Super predators. That's the official term now, and what they found is genuinely unhinged. They compared how humans hunt against how every other predator on Earth hunts. And it turns out you don't play by the rules. Every normal predator mostly eats babies, the weak, the old, the easy targets. That's how nature stays balanced. The young get picked off, the strong adults survive to breed, the cycle continues. But humans? Humans target the adults, the big ones, the breeders, the fish in their prime, the deer with the impressive antlers. The Darimont team found humans kill adult prey at rates several times higher than other predators, and we hammer other predators. Bears, wolves, big cats, at rates up to around 9 times what wild predators inflict on each other. You don't just hunt. You hunt in a way that nothing else on this planet has ever experienced before. You are, ecologically speaking, a brand new kind of nightmare. And nature has noticed, which is exactly why conservation scientists use this data to push for smarter hunting policy. The impact is that consequential. Ecologists have a term for what your existence does to a place. They call it the landscape of fear. It means a predator doesn't have to actually attack anything to change everything. The mere possibility of you reshapes the whole map. Animals stop using the best feeding grounds. They go quiet. They move at night to avoid the daytime, which is to say, to avoid you. Entire ecosystems rearrange themselves around the chance that you might show up. You alter the behavior of creatures that have never even seen a human because the fear of you got passed down like a horror story whispered between species. And what are you doing with all this raw terror you radiate? You're inside, with the lights on, watching this, slightly worried there might be a wasp somewhere in the room, which is a great moment to ask. What animal are you irrationally scared of? The one that makes you do the little involuntary dance? Bees? Snakes? Those horrible house centipedes with the 40 legs? Drop it in the comments. Because here's the joke. Whatever you just thought of is, right now, statistically far more terrified of you than you are of it. You two are not in a standoff. It's a one-sided route, and you're winning. Okay, here comes the twist, and it's the part that actually matters. If you are this terrifying, if you're the super predator, the landscape of fear made flesh, the sound that empties the savannah, then why do you feel like prey? Because evolution is slow and lazy, and it absolutely did not get the memo. Your brain. The anxious, jumpy, did I lock the door brain you're running right now? Was built for a version of you that was genuinely on the menu. For most of your lineage's existence, your ancestors were small, vulnerable things scanning the tall grass, getting picked off by big cats, sleeping in trees because the ground was a buffet, and they were the special. The fear came first. The fear is ancient. It's load-bearing. It is the original operating system, the predator stuff, the tools, the fire, the cooperation, the language that turned you into the most feared thing alive. That's recent. Shockingly recent in evolutionary terms. It's a patch installed over a system that still, deep down, believes it's lunch. So your hardware says prey. Your reputation says apex. And the two never synced. That's the apex glitch. You are running terrified rabbit firmware on a super predator body in a world that has already updated its files on you and is fleeing your voice across 2 continents. Inside, you flinch. Outside, you are the flinch causer. Both true. Same animal. Same you. This is why you can know, intellectually, that the spider can't hurt you and still feel the old electric jolt. That jolt isn't reading the data. It's reading a script written before your species learned to terrify the planet. Your anxiety isn't a personal flaw. It's a really, really old version of you that never found out how the story ended. And here's the modern mirror, because this glitch did not retire when the predators stopped chasing you. It just changed costumes. You walk into a room of people and feel small. You send a text and stare at the phone like it's a leopard in the grass. You give a presentation and your body floods with the exact same chemicals your ancestors got right before becoming someone's dinner. That's the prey software, still running, still scanning for the big cat. Except now the big cat is a coworker named Greg and his slightly cold email reply. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between a predator and a performance review. It just knows you might be watched, and watched used to mean eaten. Meanwhile, the actual data on you is this. You belong to the only species that ever made the lion nervous. You come from the lineage that made elephants reconsider. The same voice that shakes in a meeting is, by genetic resume, the most feared sound in the wild. You are not small. You have never been small. You just feel small, because the part of you doing the feeling is older than the part of you doing the terrifying. So no. The deer is not braver than you. The lion is not more confident than you. They are simply more honest about who actually scares them. And it's you. It's always been you. The soft one. The indoor one. The one who relocated over a spider last Tuesday. You are the apex predator who can't sleep with one foot outside the blanket. You are the most feared thing in nature. Asking the internet to confirm a noise was just the house settling. And that gap, between how every wild animal on Earth sees you and how you feel in your own skin at 2 a.m, that is not a bug in your life. That is the bug. That is the whole glitch. You carry a reputation you will never feel, for a power you never asked for, in a body that still thinks it might be dinner. If your brain just did the thing where it goes, wait, am I scary? Yes. To a deer, devastatingly so. Subscribe, because next time we're getting into why your brain treats one bad social moment like a survival threat. Same ancient panic, brand new disguise, and it's quietly running your whole life. So go ahead. Move out over the spider. Negotiate with the raisin on the wall. Just know the raisin already filed its report, and it says you're the scariest thing it has ever seen.